Hi there friends! Today I am going to show you my little mini book that I made for Hip Kit Club using the tremendous January kits which are filled with inspirational elements, quotes and just pretty things. So to begin with, my tag album has different size pages and elements, and I thought it would be a really cool idea to use one of the subscriber cut files to create my front page. So you can see here I've scaled the cut file down, so my finished page is probably about 5 inches wide, 5 or 6 inches wide, so pretty small. But you can see I've also backed that by drawing round the cut file onto a pattern paper just to fill in the bits. And off camera I also did the same with the flower and just drew round those and then cut out the backing papers. That way I didn't have to show you how tedious it is, like the 20 minutes it takes to cut those out. So I am a bit backwards and forwards with my process, so please forgive me. But I went on to my next page, and as part of the embellishment kit in January, actually I think it was the main kit, you receive these fringed borders. They're really pretty pinks, blues and greens, as you can see here, and they're already cut into a fringe shape for you. And all I'm going to do is layer them up so it forms a nice fringed background. And I was trying to work out what was the best way to make it even. I think I've got 5 fringes onto my page, so I just marked out the spacing for each layer. But what you'll see at the end of it is actually I find it's a bit squash towards the top, so I don't really know where I went wrong with my calculations. So in hindsight, I think if you were doing this, you'd be better off just to eyeball it. But it's a really simple technique, and you can see how effective it is just while I adjust these layers. My glue is pretty sticky, so it didn't really let me move those about. And the other thing that I learnt from doing this is actually you'd be better off to sew first and then trim down the edges, because I think depending on where your fringe ends, you can cut off a little piece at the end. Or have a little piece sticking out. So that'd be my top tip, is just sew down your edges of the background before trimming it down. So the other thing that I had in my mind to create using this fringe would be a paper tassel. I've made these by hand before, and I've used scissors just to cut out the fringing. If you wanted to do this at home, you could use, I've got some of those scissors that's got 3 or 4 blades. I think it's used for cutting up and shredding paper, so like a security pair of scissors. Mine were really cheap from a local DIY store a number of years ago. I don't use it very often, so the fringe that came in the kits were really handy and so much easier. So I cut off a length of fringe, and I think mine was about 6 inches, just over 6 inches. And what I did first was try and shape the fringe border just to help it go round my pencil more easily. Because I think, with paper, if you try and curl something without trying to break the fibres a little first, sometimes they can crease. And I found by just curling it over my pencil or my skewer just helped make it round, to help that process. So I say I am a bit backwards and forwards with my process. That's just me all over. And I'm going to use one of the lovely chipboard pieces that came in the January kit on my front page, so that anything is possible. There are loads of really inspirational messages in the kit. I don't know how Kim and Kimberly come up with them all. But I think I'm going to go with something like this. and layer up some flowers, but I really couldn't decide. So I don't know about you, what I tend to do is go on to do the next thing and then come back and decide, do I like it or not? Sometimes you just need to let an idea settle a little bit, don't you? So so I really wanted to aim for a really interesting tag book and wanted different shape pages, and then secure it all with a ring binder, a book ring at the top. So I'd cut out one of those page that you can see there, which is just a simple rectangle with a squiggly bottom. That's a technical term. And just to add a little bit more interest, I've flicked white paint onto the background, just to make it a little bit more interesting. And while that's drying, I'm going to go back to my to where I've started with my front cover. So as I say, I do go a bit backwards and forwards. So you can see the lovely die cut pieces from the, I'm going to guess, the main kit. So I only had the embellishment and the main kit this month, so it was either in one or the other. I kind of get towards the end of my my term for the particular kit, and then things just get mixed up all the time. I'm sure there are plenty of people that are far more organised than I am. So I've mounted that bike onto some foam tape just for a little dimension, and I've just layered up some of those die cut flowers which came in the embellishment kit. So don't be afraid to cut off leaves. So I think that main pink flower there had different leaves and foliage poking out, and I've just cut some of it just to suit my purposes. And you'll see that I used one of the puffy phrase stickers from the December kit. That they came in white, a mint blue colour, a coral and a black colour, I believe, or maybe a dark navy. And actually they work really well on different months as well, because they're quite neutral. So that would work a treat for me. So I'm just going to put that chipboard sticker onto the front of my album. And I've kept it fairly simple in the end, that front cover. So off camera again, I had some different shape pages, and I've just stitched around the edges, just add a bit of detail. And I've firstly cut one of those frames from the pattern papers in the January kit. I've used quite a few of those. I really love a little bit of fussy cutting. And that shape that you can see there was just a bit of leftover paper from another project. I am a real hoarder and actually keep all those little bits and pieces, so they do come in handy. And sometimes they just spark a different shape, don't they, from whatever you've got left over. This photo is from a few years ago. My daughter was about, let me see, she must have been 4. Loved having her face painted. So it was they're really cute, and kids grow up so quick, don't they? So my teenage daughter doesn't really appreciate the face painting now. So I am going back to these old photos. So on the back of there, I'm just going to layer up some die cuts. I don't have a lot of photos from this particular event. I think we'd gone to a local National Trust property. So for those not in the UK, a lot of our heritage properties here and fancy manor houses and so on, you can go and visit through the National Trust, which were fantastic when the kids were little. So we would be out there every weekend. But as they got older, they appreciated old country houses a lot less. So that'll be just down to me and Pete now, I think, going forward. But I do think, it is a reminder, as that phrase says there, to enjoy every moment, because it seemed that the kids growing up took years, they were going to be kids forever, and suddenly you look back now and they're all grown up, and that seems, such a fleeting time ago. So do make the most of everything. So for my last page here, I have used one of the gorgeous pattern papers with those rainbows that are really sweet. And I'm just using some offcut papers then to layer up and add a bit of interest. Again, I've stitched around the edges just to make them a little bit more interesting. But only because I've got my sewing machine out really, and you know, so it wasn't too much trouble to just add a bit of stitching. So that blue banner that you can see there with the stars on, rather than stitch around the edge, I thought I'd stitch down the middle, and I'm going to have it hang off the edge of my page and then wrap around onto the back, just so it feels a little bit different. I do like to use banners, so I thought that would be quite a nice way of using a banner. So you can see it wraps around the bottom right hand side onto the back, and there's a perfect spot there then to add a little button or a puffy sticker. Look how cute, she's right little dumpling there. So just decorating that page then with a few of the chipboard stickers. So cute. And I've been hoarding the Dream Big rainbow for the whole month, but I think it was really time to actually use it. So again, what I've tended to do is put some ideas together, gone off to do my sewing, and then kept everything together in a little pouch. That was just so it makes it a little bit quicker on the video. Otherwise you'll be watching me put it on, put it off, change my mind, move it here, move it there. And it would be so dull to watch, wouldn't it? So I, again, just created some little banners. Layer those up. And this is the one, if you remember, I splattered on the other side so that I could just layer up those fussy cut speech bubbles. And I've put some on foam tape and some will be flat and just glued down. I just thought I quite like a few pages that just got some embellishments and no photos. Incidentally, I thought what would be really cute would be to use different fasteners for adding my pages. So most of them are punched, but you can see on the one with the fringing there, I've attached it, or I'll attach it with a ribbon, which I've stapled. I felt that rather than punching a hole through, just in case I hit the fringing, I thought that would be the safest way to attach it to my book. And on the back, I'm creating a pocket, real simple pocket, by just taping down on the three sides, leaving the top open. And again, one of my little banners. And it adds great detail, but it's just really easy, and adding them throughout the book I think helps with the consistency. So that's kind of more or less it. I will leave you some detailed photos because what I did off camera was just add some little, a few extra details with little bits of chipboard. I had some of the puffy stickers and enamel dots from past kits. And added a paperclip here and there. So the colours are so pretty, aren't they? They're just really lovely. I do hope you like it, and I think this would be a great project to give as a gift. Mother's Day won't be that far away, certainly here in the UK. I know it's a bit later in the year for the rest of the world, but hopefully I've inspired you to have a go yourself, and I would love to see what you do. So I'd love if you would share that with us on our Facebook group. I hope you like it and will follow me online. You can find me as Cropcat, or you can look at my YouTube channel. Thanks so much for watching, and take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye.